Okay, okay. What's good, everybody? Listen, we back. We in the spot. Listen, the ladies got stuff they want to say today, and we had to restart this because I couldn't let them get away without saying what they need to say. So we're just gonna jump right back in. Everybody in the building. V, gonna take the floor, say where we was at, and let's keep this conversation going.
So what I was saying is that I've been asked to get married 3 times. Now I said no all three because when I looked at my life wasn't going to be better with them in it. And we as women, we have the right to say no. Don't let society tell you that you don't have that right to say no. Like bump you society. Society will not pay your bills. Society will not make you happy. Society won't be waking up beside you every day, right? So
Right.
you need to be happy with where you are and who you are with. Bump whatever society, your world, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your cousins, your uncles, aunties, all of them. If they ain't paying your bills, their opinion can kiss your ass.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's powerful too, to just know that, just because you're in a relationship and somebody does ask you to marry them does not mean that you have to do it. It's the same thing with me. Like before I got married, I was my actual husband asked me like a couple of times beforehand, and it was just like at the time I wasn't ready. When I got to the point where I felt like I was ready, regardless of what my reasons were, then that's when I said, okay, now we can go forward. But before then, and it's again that kind of goes back to a society thing, and we have to know that we're more than just what we aren't taught especially as Black women, because that's when I came out of my marriage. I was like, who am I? Like, what am I supposed to do now? It's like, what is it to be free, and how am I supposed to be free? Like, what, there was just, you're looking for rules and, guidelines and all this stuff. And there isn't any, because you are created to be you. I'm created to be me. I'm unique. It's like all of us. And, when it came to like, I don't know about y'all, but even going out of town by yourself, then people are like, "You doing what? You going where? And who going with you? I'm going
You
by
better be
myself."
careful. You know what they doing out there to women?
Yes.
You know how many
People
times
try to
I've
put
heard
that
that,
fear
y'all
in
trying
your
to go to
life,
show.
boy. They'll try to put that fear in your life, like, nigga, that's your fear. You hold that.
Exactly.
Work with it.
You
Like-
got his hand up.
Yeah. You gotta unmute.
Unmute. Throw down.
Because I may ask y'all a question. Because number one, I agree with y'all. I feel like a woman who about her business is the business for real. But can that same mindset work for us without us being called a whole bunch of like because I've been asked to be married. As a matter of fact, before I married my wife, and I've told my wife this story, I almost got married once. I actually went and got the marriage certificate, the license, and 2 days after that, while we were sitting in the hotel room, and she was asleep, I asked her why she was asleep. You sure I'm supposed to be with you for the rest of my life? And she couldn't answer me because she was asleep, and I took that as my answer, and I never saw her again.
You know what? I can't take it.
I think it's necessary for men. Like I used to encourage, and if I'm with somebody, I encourage that. You have to have your alone time. I have to have my alone time. I don't need nobody, even if I'm dating you. I do not need you in my face 24/7. Like, get out of my face. Like, we cool, I love you, but I need my alone time. And I think the other people need their alone time too.
So let me ask you this, Kendra. What if he's just the clingy type and he wants to be on you as that much?
I can't do you.
So how do you
I cannot do a clingy type? No.
How do you address that? I mean, is it automatic? Yo, this is off, or you talk to him in a way and try to work that out. How does that work?
Listen, I used to ask, do you have other friends besides me?
That's that nice coming out.
You don't have nowhere else you need to go right now, right? Nowhere.
I think for me, and that was, I mean, honestly, it was an issue in my marriage because he liked to stay at home and didn't like. But I don't stay at home. Like, I'm ready to go. What we doing? So I got to a point. So, okay, well, you stay at home. I'm gonna go do what I'm gonna do. So somebody who's clingy, I mean, if I say you can hang out with me, like that's fine. Like if I'm going to do something and I want you to come, then I'll invite you. But don't expect me to have. I don't have to invite you to everything I do if I don't want to. It's like
Well, my only thing with that, Kendra, is you say you like to go and you don't even know movies. So where you be going? Okay?
I do stuff though. I like to go hiking. I do different outdoor activities. I like to travel. I like to shop. I'm just out. Like I just
Don't be
don't.
trying to come for her, John. Don't be coming for her.
Thank you,
She know
Robley.
what she be doing when she be doing it.
I go where I go and do what I do.
Lovely. The
Right
only
at
one that's
home.
Hey y'all, I'm
maybe
gonna
Lady
be
B.
honest. If a person,
Well,
I would always
I
take
say
it as
this.
a red flag.
Hold on,
if a
though.
person- I would always
I-
take
I-
it as a red flag if a person doesn't have other friends, right? If their only friend is the person they're in a relationship with, that's a major red flag. Because if something ever happens to y'all, that person could flip the script and you don't know how
Hey, good
crazy
morning.
they really are until the one soul tie they had on the earth is taken away from them. I went through that. That shit is not safe. I don't recommend it
Right.
for anybody else.
Right.
And if you are a lady watching this and you that is your life, please
Get
have
out
some
now.
protection. Take a self-defense class or something
Right.
because you're going to need it. Like if something would ever happen to you two as a couple, it is not going to be pretty, and that is speaking from experience. Like I
Fact.
moved
Right.
entire states behind that stuff.
Can I
Yeah.
address this real quick? I would not do that to you, Mrs. Dr. Reverend Cole. You ain't got to worry about that. We already married.
That's right.
You can't
We're
go
gonna do
nowhere.
that right here if you do.
I'm not ever going nowhere, and you can't. We're not
Right.
going nowhere.
If-
I'm not doing it again. I already told you before, woman. I'm not getting married ever again. I'm not even going through the process of what it takes to get married ever again. I'm not. That's it. That's it. So you ain't got to worry about me running while you sleep, unless I'm going outside to smoke or something. That's about it. So get that out your head. Okay, that's address y'all. Thank y'all.
With the point that like everyone has to be able to find time for themselves. Like you have to, because if you're not operating at your full capacity, like we said in the last chat, section, like you can't show up for like your whole self with someone if you yourself are not whole. Making time, like I don't mind. There's times where like I can be with you, we can live together. But if you in the living room, I'm gonna go sit in the bedroom, or if you in the bedroom, I'm gonna come in the living room. Like I ain't got much space now. That's the only options, goddamn. But shit, like I'm gonna make sure that like there's space. If I want to go out, maybe I just want to go out to breathe. Sometimes I get in my car and I go. I don't have no destination or nothing. I literally have driven to a parking spot somewhere random and sat just to breathe other air in a different space.
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like sometimes when, and I don't know why this is, but sometimes people feel like because you're in a relationship, your end all be all has to be with that person. If you're not with that person, then you're doing something else. That comes to insecurities and trust shit. That's a deeper issue. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
when you're operating in that space, or you're assuming that they're doing something because they want to go out by themselves or do something. And I've been married and I'm happily divorced for a long time now. And it's like
Say that again.
it's a different experience. Like I didn't plan on it. I didn't want to get divorced. I know there's certain things that led to it. But at the same time, in a relationship where like that's the only person you talk with, it gets scary. It gets very scary. I've dealt with situations where it did not end well because when I chose to finally leave, they did not accept that. You know what I'm saying? And that's scary ass shit. We said it, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, man, there's levels there. There are levels there. If something seemed cute in the beginning, I call that shit out right now. Cut that shit.
Yeah.
Cut that
Right.
shit. I don't care if we friends or not. Cut that shit out. Nah, don't play with me like that. What is
That's the key to it too, is addressing it.
Don't play with me.
I was listening to a relationship counselor, and they said your spouse does not need to be your only best friend. And I'm like, well, most people, they always say my spouse is my best friend. I tell them everything. And it was like, for your own peace, sometimes you can't tell your spouse everything because there's certain things I'm going through as a woman. I'm heterosexual. I can't talk to certain shit I'm going through to another man and he understands. So I have to rely on my actual other woman best friends for advice, and that's vice versa. And I feel even if you're in the same sex relationship, more than likely that's still the same thing. For your own peace in your relationship, sometimes some things need to just be, I need to talk to someone else, not you, about this.
You make a good point with that.
All the time.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say sometimes the left hand don't never need to know what the right hand is doing. It, and it's not that it's in a sneaky, way. It's just that I always think that everybody should have a certain amount of things that they can keep personal. Like you have to be able to have a secret with yourself. You have to be able to just be like, there's something that nobody knows, and there's nothing, bad because but it's just something that for yourself, you can keep to yourself, and you don't have to share everything with everybody. I mean, especially if you're living with somebody, you're sharing a lot already. You're sharing space, you're sharing, bills, house, whatever. You're sharing every part of you with them. So some of it you got to keep it to yourself. And
I agree. It's one thing that I've noticed from experience with people who don't feel comfortable with you sharing your life or pieces of your life with other people. For me, that's how I operate. Like I sometimes bounce stuff off of different people because I may be seeing it in a way that is not conducive to us having a healthy relationship. And maybe you're telling me something that I'm not catching, but if it comes from someone I know and trust the last X amount of years, maybe I could see it differently. That's how I am. Unfortunately, in all cases, you don't have a therapist or somebody to go to, so you go to the next best thing. You go to your salon, you go to your homegirl, you go to your auntie, you go to someone that you trust, and you say, hey, listen, this is the situation I'm in. You don't have to say who, what, when, why, but it's like, this is what I'm dealing with. How am I making the right choice? Is this something, what I'm feeling is sometimes talking to somebody else will save you a whole heap of trouble down the road because you've gotten out what you needed to get out so that you can handle the situation properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I feel like in certain situations, talking to somebody and them knowing everything, it's like you're still going to get the same feedback you would if you were just talking to them regular. You can't go to the same person. It's like, I don't know shit about music, and V, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You don't go to the same person to get your beat and then to mix and master it. You go to 3 different producers to have all this shit done because everybody hears and sees things differently. Just as writers, you can write a dope ass book, but if you try to edit your own book, you a fucking fool. And yes, I said it. And if you've done it, oh, well, hell, I love you. I've done it too. But once I sent that book to my editor, she saw a whole lot of shit that I didn't see because I've been seeing the same thing over and over and over again that I got to memorize in my head how I want to see it, but not how it really is. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nothing wrong with, I think, going out and getting conversation from other people.
My thing on it is this, because I've had this I've had this conversation before. But my thing on it is this. Like my wife, she called my sister to talk about us because she feel like, okay, it's gonna give her a different perspective, and it's somebody that's not gonna automatically take my side. And I get it on this sense, but I don't know. I guess because I've always been so closed in that like I don't be want people up in my business, cause except for me, I don't be want people up in my business. So it's just some things I don't talk about. Like I've never been one to be with my partners and talk about my sex life. Never. It's like it's never been a conversation that I've indulged in. It don't make no sense to me. I've never talked about with my partners about whatever I was dealing with anything with women. I just never been one of them kind of cats to do it. Even though my partners talk about they talk about their baby mamas, talk about whatever chick they with. I was just never one of them cats to do that. And so I don't know. And I have that issue with my wife because I'm closed. I'm closed-mouthed about a lot of things. I'm closed-mouthed about a lot of things to where it almost seems like I'm secretive. I'm just not. I'm not a open. For some reason, everything else about me can be open, and I don't care how fucked up it may sound to folks or whatever. But it's just some things that I am so deeply hold tighter than everything else. I just like refuse to really talk about it. And so to have my significant other be a little more freer to talk about it. At first, he called friction. Like, man, we talk about my business, man. I don't know the motherfuckers like that. I'm talking folks about my business. That's why I don't want to do a therapist. I'm not against therapists. I'm just not gonna go to a therapist. I'm looking at it like, why do I gotta pay you to help me deal with myself? I ain't gotta pay you. I ain't gotta pay now, motherfucker, to do that. I can go find out how to deal with myself. I think I got common sense. And I'm not going to pay you to help me deal with myself.
There's a lot of people that think like you. Like, I don't want to say it's unfortunate. Only reason why I would say that is like, if you're not actively working on there's plenty of books, YouTube, this, that, articles, books, whatever that you can read to help yourself. Don't get me wrong. But if you have the means to get outside help, then get it. That help, first of all, they have to maintain confidence. So it's not like you telling them and they're going to run and make a billboard about it. It's like when you're doing that, you're literally saying to the person you love, I'm willing to work on me so that I could be the best person I need to be and handle and interact with you. And even if not for you, for myself, because the person I am today ain't the person I was years ago. Hell, 2-3 months ago ain't the same person. You know what I'm saying? But I took the time to like say, okay, you know what? I need to work on me. I need to talk to somebody. I'm actively looking for a therapist so that I can make sure that what I'm knowing and learning is gonna benefit me in the long run. It doesn't mean you have to accept any kind of medication. I think in the Black culture, we're so used to them diagnosing us with some kind of schizophrenia, mental health issues of some sort. We run from it. Nah, that's that crazy shit. Nah, that's so-and-so. They on that stuff or this, that, and third. No, we have to take away that stigma that it's an issue to share and get help. Because there's too many broken people walking around hurting folk for no reason because they don't want to do the work. That's self-care. We talk about that all the time. Self-love, self-care. Taking the time to be like, yo, you know what? That shit that happened back in the day or yesterday, that ain't sitting right with me. Let me work on me so I can move forward. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to do that, but in your own way, however that works for you. Because listen, the fact that you're not even doing this pimp hoe shit says a lot because it takes a lot to come out of something that you've been living in. So that already lets me know you moving and operating differently. You feel me? So I respect that. But it's like, if you're not willing to continue that movement forward, you're going to find yourself replaying the same shit over again, making the same mistakes. And I use that word loosely, but the same choices until that pattern is broken. And you're going to wonder why you keep doing the same thing over and over and over.
I know one of my biggest things is my solitude. I'm a stickler for my solitude, and I've conditioned myself to truly enjoy being by myself because I've done a total of maybe 6 years in ASA, with just sitting in that motherfucker by myself all day, every day, and I'm so used to being around people too, because before all that, even in prison, still around people all day, every day. And you living with somebody all day, every day in a small space. So I'm used to it, but I enjoy my solitude so much more. And it you know, and I know one of the things to make a relationship work is time. And I'm such a stickler for my own time. Like I truly enjoy being by myself. Like it can be pitch quiet, no music, no nothing, and I just enjoy just being by myself. Like I've been conditioned, so I advise anybody if you are in a relationship with somebody that not only has been to prison, but has spent time, a lot of time in solitary confinement, you have to understand that they have been, especially if they came out with some kind of sanity, we have been conditioned to enjoy time alone. We've been conditioned to enjoy their solitude, because if you don't get to enjoy it, you don't get to the fact where you enjoy it, get comfortable in it, you end up losing your mind. And I done seen a lot of cats lose their mind because they're not used to being by themselves. I enjoy it now. Me and my wife still have friction about my solitude a lot.
Let me say this. Everybody has to be able to like themselves. And you can't like yourself if you don't know yourself. You can't learn yourself if you don't spend time by yourself. That's number one. Number two is, because I've been to therapy, I know what therapy is. And so people who have not gone, they have what everybody else says about therapy, but it's usually people who never been. Now, every therapist ain't for everybody. You got to find your own ways in there. But I will tell you this. Therapy helps in a lot of ways. And people think therapy is you sitting there telling somebody and they telling you what to do. No, therapists don't tell you what to do. They don't say, here, you do this, you do that. They don't do that. You actually answer your own questions because you take time to listen to yourself in a different environment. And then, okay, well, how about this? Let's talk about that. And it's the structuring of you actually paying attention to yourself. Therapy almost feels like you're in there by yourself. It almost feels like that. Because
it helps you to sort it out,
because you got to talk to you, and I think that that's a lot of the things that, you know, I think one thing that people you know, even don't realize, like when you're talking to someone else, like Josh said, that you feel like you're by yourself in therapy. A lot of times when we come to people with stuff, we don't want you to answer our questions. We don't want you to help us with shit. All we want to do is be able to say something to somebody else and, you know, and get it out. Because like you said, once you hear yourself talking, you're like, wait. You know, and it's kind of like that light bulb goes off, and then it starts to click. Because when you actually, like, what I do is, I mean, I've gone to therapy and stuff before, but I legit talk to myself. I don't care where I'm at. My kids be like, Mama, why are you talking to yourself? Because sometimes I really have to hear me saying certain things for me to, you know, for it to really process. Once I hear it, then I'm like, okay, you know, and I'm getting it out. But I actually wanted to go back because Whit said something. What did Whit say? Whit said people should stop letting society direct what is just for their lifestyle. And I thought that was very, very important, because we do, like, you know, we sit there and we think about, oh, well, what they're going to say. Like, if I don't do this, like, I know somebody that is in a marriage that they don't want to be in, but they won't move around because of what it's going to look like to everybody else.
Bags.
And that's a horrible feeling, you know what I'm saying, to sit there and think about what other people are going to think about you. You know, so I think that that's absolutely, you know, like really important for us to stop. Like I think Lady V said it, like, you know, whatever it is you want to do you. Don't give, you know, like, don't even have a second thought about what somebody else, because somebody, look, like I tell my children, they're going to talk about you when it's good. And they're going to talk about it when it's bad. So guess what? Let them talk. But you have to live your life. And every person on this planet is like, we live on one planet, but we all have different worlds. Yeah. Our worlds have just so happened to connect with each other, but what you do lovely in your world ain't got nothing to do with what happens in my world, unless our worlds happen to collide at that time. And something, you know.
Listen, it's the old Southern saying, what you eat don't make me shit.
Exactly. Okay. Who you hump don't make me come. Okay.
Right.
Period. Okay.
That's real.
I say that to my wife all the time.
You'll find somebody that'll talk you out of try to talk you out of doing something, and then turn around and go and do the same thing. Live their life the way they want.
Just told you can't.
That they just told you not to do. Girl, why are you doing that? Oh, well. Maybe you should work a little harder. I can't tell you how many times people have tried to say, don't do this, don't do that. At the end of the day, if you want to do something, go and do it. Live your life. Because if you don't, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be pissed off that you stuck to the plan and then do shit. And you're gonna be looking around at everybody else living their best damn life. Fuck
Exactly.
that. Nah. And throw it off, going back to you being, if you're comfortable being in your solitary space, that's fine. But if that's conditioning from having to go through that shit, I'm gonna tell you, I love you. You don't know me. I don't know you. Go get through that shit. Get through that shit. And maybe you could be like, bitch, you don't know me. That's fine. But I'm gonna tell you, if that's conditioning, if that's conditioning, fuck that shit, because that's the way they want you to be. Because if you were somebody that was vibrant, I don't give a fuck if you had bitches, hoes, tricks, whatever the fuck shit's called. If that's how you were, if that's the personality that you have to be vibrant and to be around people, then own that shit. You don't have to do the same lane, but you can find yourself running shit, doing shit, interacting with people. If that's for you, fucking own that shit. If you want your solitary too, still have that. But I'm just saying, like, too often we let people shape us and mold us into what they want us to be, and that we don't choose what we want to be. I am guilty of it. I can't tell you how many times V says it all the time to me, Lee. I hate sometimes when you get with people because you become a new person. And I'm working on me now to be like, yo, I'm gonna maintain who I am when I'm in these relationships with people. Because I shift too much and too often. And this is me being completely transparent with whoever the fuck is watching this shit. Like, I have to learn to walk in my light and my truth, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to anybody. Like, if it ain't for you or somebody trying to change you, reevaluate this shit.
Yeah.
Reevaluate this shit.
That's really.
And I was going to say too, you have to be careful. Like, even when, because I can, you know, like when I made the decision, and this, you know, is all still fairly new, to leave. I'm someone, I guess, kind of like E-Man. Like, I don't talk to people about my personal situations. Like, so nobody knew. It was just like we were together, we were apart, and everybody's like, what? You know, a lot of people probably still don't know, but the friend, you know, the friends that I had it was more of like an attack mode on what was wrong with me. And I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with me.
Right, you do.
Because again, going back to us as women, we are supposed to fix it. You're supposed to fix this. You're supposed to fix that. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. It's a generational curse. Let me pray it out of you. You're gonna go back. This isn't over. This isn't. I'm like, no. I left. When I make the decision to leave, I'm done. Like, there is no going back for me. When I'm done, I am done.
Happy marriages don't end in divorce.
That right
they
there.
said that to me. I was able to get through mine. I said, I needed that.
that part right there about fixing everything. So, and then I would give them this question. So if he's sitting here beating my ass, am I still supposed to stay in this fucking marriage? Y'all supposed to pray that out of me because something wrong with me because he beating my ass? Like, I don't get it.
Because they're not taught to value themselves. It's like, you know, you're supposed to overcome, and I think that's something that religion teaches us, right? That you can overcome. You can pray something out. You can pray yourself out of anything, and that's not always the situation. Like you pray.
The prayer has an answer immediately and says, "Get the fuck out."
Exactly.
You wouldn't know Jesus. Jesus said, "Bitch, I got the door open."
What I have said is I have prayed those things out, and what God said to me is He wasn't nowhere in the beginning. That was not of Him, so I didn't need to be there. So thank you for your time, but you don't know
where is the offering
You are in the I don't want your prayers about that. I don't want you to pray for this to be fixed because God already told me that it is being fixed by it being broken.
Some people will use the Lord in vain, honey.
Yes.
They will tell you, God told me. No, the hell God didn't.
I'm busting your ass. I'm getting out.
Yeah, because I had, even up until December, I had to tell somebody, I'm like, take our name off of your prayer list. Like, take it off.
Can I ask you to put me on your prayer list? Can I send you a text? Let me know. What?
Let me say this though. Let me say this. So another thing we got to realize, as far as living in this part of the world, right? The whole concept of marriage had nothing to do with actually being in love, number one. It was all business.
Yeah, it was a
It
business
was
transaction.
all about people, especially Black people, having to be able to take care of what their responsibility was, and one person can't do without the other.
Jai, you
If
can
you
take
go-
it further back than that.
They go
Because
right.
with kings and queens, it was about keeping the royal bloodlines,
Keeping the
those
royal-
bloodlines together.
It had nothing to do with love. Love had never anything to do with it. But we have become conditioned to this American thing that you had people that was together happy that never thought about marrying one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about live hundreds of years. They've been together since they was 9 years old, running around kids and playing in the grass. That happened. And we got conditioned to what Hollywood says, oh, this is what it should be. Love at first sight. You should love your wife. If you go back to your grandmother and her friends, they were married to men that they didn't even like.
Yep.
Most of them.
Most
That
of
they
them.
not even like. But sometimes they had, okay, well, we need to make some babies to take care of this land we got that they left us. Sometimes we just look, I can't make it, you can't make it. What we gonna do? There's a lot of different shit that we don't get. So my thing is, when do we understand that marriage is a decision two people make for whatever reason they make it, but don't even know what the fuck a marriage is?
Right.
People are more happy unmarried than they are married.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like Lovely, like Lovely was saying, think about that. We're together, and if you don't get married, then, when you die and all of these things, like people look at it, from that point, but also, like, oh, we love each other. I want to be with you, and I love you. So let's solidify ourselves in this situation. But never saying to, it's like, so what? Okay, now we married. Now what? What are we, like, where else we gonna go from this? What else are we gonna do? We just married. Okay, you die, I can bury you. Fine, cool. But we don't think beyond that. Like we sit there and we get into. I think, like Jai was saying, situationships started way back then. They were situationships.
Entanglement.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All of these situationships, they just like, oh, okay, we can it. Let's go ahead on and just, be with each other and get married, and then it perpetuates from one generation.
You know what that is? Just one quick thing, because before I don't forget. That a lot of us are geared, especially little girls. We're groomed into a wedding. You're gonna have a big wedding, a this wedding, a that wedding. Nobody says you're gonna have a great marriage. Like you're gonna go through trials, you're gonna go through whatever. Like
yes,
we are a wedding society. If you look at all the media and the amount of money that goes, like they have literal fashion shows for weddings. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Like all that shit for weddings.
Right.
They put more time into the wedding than they do into the marriage.
But your marriage is not like, and then you still paying that shit off. You long divorced.
Yeah.
If you make that far, you don't worry about it, whatever. But still, if you end up getting a divorce, you still paying on this marrying this motherfucker you don't even like.
Yeah.
Look, when you said earlier, Lovely,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Lovely, when you said you was happily divorced, I was like, hey, because you said, like I saw this lady, she threw a divorce party and people were bitching at her because she took pictures and it was like happily divorced. And I'm like, why would you be mad with this woman? Because you never know
what she went through.
Yeah, you never know what her situation was. And when V was saying about if he was beating me, I'm supposed to pray. I was watching this I love true crime stuff.
Ooh.
And I was watching this one where this man and the woman, they were married. And this lady, she kept trying to get out of her marriage. She went to the church, and because she was Catholic, went to the church to try to get an annulment, told them that he was beating her, and the priest would not give it to her. And I said, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? For you to be so deeply rooted, I'm not saying nothing against religion, but for you to be so deeply rooted in the fact that a marriage is forever, that you won't allow somebody to come out of it because of a messed up situation like that. And she crazy as cat shit, because I'd have left. She actually did try to leave, and when he realized that she was trying to leave, he killed her. But you know.
All an illusion. I have a friend to this day who, in the eyes of the state, is divorced, but in the eyes of the church is still married. Because in the Catholic Church, there is a whole different ceremony that you have to go through for divorce.
Yep.
You have to physically like break the bonds, break the spiritual ties that have happened, the bringing of two souls together to one. There is a complete divorce ceremony that you have to go through. It has to go through a rigorous review. She's like, it's taking me longer to get divorced in the church than it did for me to get married in the church.
I guess I'd be going to a new church then, because God knows.
That's the thing that be
He
killing
ain't
me.
got that.
That's the thing that be killing me, because a lot of people are, it's the power that they hold. And it's just like the whole domestic violence thing. When say like you said, the woman, she got killed. Then y'all at her funeral saying that she should have tried this, she should have tried that. But where was y'all when she was getting her ass whooped?
Yeah.
Where was y'all?
Yeah.
And then it's just like nobody wants to hold the guilt, and nobody wants to take that guilt that they're feeling, because it's just like, well, she should have did this. And it's just like, but she didn't.
You see her on
But she
Snap
shoulda
and
did
you
that.
wonder why.
Right.
Now
Mhm.
she on a crime show. Like that shit is mind blowing. Like,
Or in a box. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And it just the cycles.
Sometimes it takes something that drastic for people to understand, like, your religion should not have been that important. Like, you lost the whole person because of, you were steadfast on holding forth, or holding to the religious laws versus like you put that over this person's life.
Right. So end of the day, God is gonna, if you feel that connected to religion, you should know that God forgives sin. If you think divorce is a sin, if that's the case, you should see the sin in somebody getting abused. But if you don't, like, you should see that this person's coming to you for help for a reason. Sometimes the church is the only outlet a person can get to, because it can fit into a regular schedule.
Right.
Going to somebody's domestic violence facility may not be the move. Like, there's so much shit, man. Listen, I could talk all day on that.
But it's another thing. I'm sorry, because Lady V was trying to say something.
I know a husband and wife, happily married. One is Muslim and one is Christian. Both of them are, one is a pastor in the church and one is an imam in the mosque. Have no issues. Now, mind you, they're not celebrating each other's holidays because they don't have the same practices. But why are they still married? Why are they still happy? Why are they so successful? Because that's my personal thing. Has nothing to do with you. That's what I decided I wanted. And they're happily married. I've known them for years. I don't even know if they are. So my thing is, when does it become more important about what our together thing is than what our individual thing? Like, which one is going to oversee the other one? Like, how do we decide which one is going to be, oh, well, this is it and I can't move past that? I think that's the problem with relationships today, but I think black women are being consumed by that. Like, you got to be what your husband is. Those ideas. Right. The man head of the household, the woman can still make them decisions.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Ja. That's not even biblical.
Right.
That is not even biblical. Because if you look at the Bible, Jesus, let's be honest, Christianity is new and Christianity is fucked up. And this is coming from a preacher's kid. It is messed up. Jesus was not a Christian. Christianity has become so man-made. We've put up so much walls and barriers. Jesus didn't care who you were, what you did. He was going to talk to you because there is an inherent goodness that should be in everyone, no matter what religion you follow. So I can love you because you are human. I don't give a rat's ass about nothing else.
Come on, rat's ass.
Don't give it.
Come on,
too. And I can address
it. I need your volume to go up a little bit. We got to get some more value from you.
I think,
turn you up. Look. Oh, it's still open now. It's still open. Come on.
I think too that it's going back to what you were saying. I mean, and depending on how you were raised or whatever, but so I had never seen people separated with church. You know what I'm saying? So because we grew up, you know, we all went to the same church or whatever. My grandparents went to different churches, and they, you know, they held offices or whatever in their different churches. When I started going to church, you know how it used to be like the deacon sit on one side of church, the deaconess is, well, I had no idea about stuff. And so when they would start saying, oh, these two are married, I'm like, well, they don't know, sit together. how are they married? But like when I personally got married, I left the church that I was attending to join my husband's church. And then, you know, like eventually we left there, and then, you know, we found a church that was more suitable for us together as a family. But, you know, there is a lot of, I can, just to answer the question that you were asking about, you know, that part, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it.
That talks about a man, he was drowning in the ocean, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was drowning, and a boat came by, and they said, sir, do you need some assistance? And he said, no, God's got me.
I love this thing.
You're like, oh, okay, well, die then.
Right. So
and then another boat came.
No, God's got me. So the boat took off. A third boat comes by and said, sir, do you need some assistance? No, God's got me. The man died, and he went to God and said, God, why didn't you save me? And he said, I sent you 3 boats.
3 boats.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Now, I know a lot of people that you might can hate me or whatever. I think the same thing when it comes to like doctors, doctors, therapists, any kind of person that has an educational background that is meant to be put in your life, right? For any reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not going to listen to them because I'm going to listen to God. The same way God put you on this earth, God put these doctors on the earth, God put these therapists on the earth, God put these counselors on the earth. Am I saying that they are the end all be all? No. But I am saying that they are here to assist in your guidance.
Right.
Because sometimes we as human, we don't listen to God's voice. So when God told you you need to put that burger down and you kept picking that burger up, now you sitting here and you got congestive heart failure because you kept eating that burger when the doctor told you didn't need to eat the burger.
Yeah.
God told you to stop eating the burger, but you didn't listen.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on with the cholesterol conclusion. Come on with the cholesterol.
Look, you see, I keep picking it up because baby, look, I'm about to go.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And I think Witz had made a comment. He was just like, if you got an infection and you don't go to the doctor to get that infection checked out and you die, that's on you. Because it's common sense. Like your body, forget people telling you what to do. Your body will react to you saying, you know, you need to go take care of this. If you're feeling chest pains in your chest every time you walk in, you need to go to the doctor because that pain, it's a warning sign. It's saying, hello, we need attention. If you bleeding out, you looking at it and you just like, you know, I'm gonna just sit here. Maybe it'll just heal up on its. No, go to the doctor so you can get that stitched up. Like people be acting like common sense is not common, but God speaks to you in so many different ways. Your body speaks to you in so many different ways when something is wrong, and we be ignoring that, like, well, God got me, and you make it up to heaven, and he looking up at you like, did you not see me telling your body that you need to fix this? Did you not hear what that doctor said? Like, I wasn't speaking to you through the doctor. Like, come on.
Amen.
Right.
She would have got a feeling.
Y'all bringing the word today.
That's my twin. We here.
So check this out. When you hurt yourself, right? Your body swells. You twist your ankle, your body swells. Well, the body swells to protect itself.
Right.
Right. So think about your relationship.
Mm.
When it gets to a point where the air is so thick you can't breathe around each other, there's something that's happening that you have to fix before you can move forward. But what we do, we sit there and let the swelling fade on its own. Well, the swelling go away, but it didn't fix the shit. Your tendons is still jacked up. Your bones is still, you got a fracture. There's still some shit that need to be fixed. But what we do in relationships, we let the shit blow over. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you can't address it right away. But eventually you're going to have to address the shit again. Mm-hmm. And I think we miss that. The swelling happens to protect what's vital, what's important.
And know when to fight certain battles too. That's important too, because sometimes you can have something that is real minuscule and then blow out of proportion because you don't tend to the wound early on. So something that's a little scratch or a splinter becomes this major thing when it shouldn't be. You know, like taking the time to just work through and understand, because some people, they are anger issues. They haven't dealt with shit. They don't know how to communicate. So every little thing is like explosion. I know I've operated in that space before. It ain't always the best space, but I recognize when I am in that space, I need to take a minute and breathe and say, okay, what am I tripping over? What's leading me to be like this? What other aspects of my life are going on that's making me respond like this? A lot of people don't do that. They don't take a time, like they don't take a second to be like, yo, I got in an argument today with this person. I had to go handle this person. You realize your stress levels is all adding up. But you're strong, you're holding on, and next thing you know, somebody does one little thing. Next thing you know, you beating your kid for being a fucking kid because you done snapped on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
or
I
you
get
cussing
you.
out your girlfriend or your boyfriend because you done snapped. Your job done got on your nerves all day. Like, you know, so many different things.
It's crazy you say that because so I send out morning inspirational messages, and one of the main things I tell anybody who reads them, anybody who gets them, is that you must step 2, and step 2 is taking that deep breath, because if you don't take that deep breath and you just hold it in, you turn into a time bomb, and the clock starts and everything just keep accumulating. Somebody could push you by accident and that will let that fuse fire off, and they didn't even deserve that curse out you just gave them.
Yes.
They
Listen,
slipped and fell and hit you by accident.
Yeah, and when you don't address situations too, I think I said when you don't address situations, you'll be in the middle. Let's say you here today, they gonna bring up something that happened 30 years ago. You're like, what?
right.
30 years ago, you remember when you said XYZ to somebody, and that was just this, and you're like, what?
But sometimes people bring up stuff in a space and it's like it's the wrong time, and it literally reshifts everything. Instead of having dealt with it when it comes, like if I say to you, are you all right? And you say, I'm fine. And I could tell you not fine. And I ask you again, are you sure? And you say, I'm good. At that point,
That's
we
between
good.
you and God.
Done.
Yes,
We good.
yes. Because I know something wrong with
about
your
blowing up. I went to the post office one day. I had a whole lot of other crap going on. And I ended up blowing up on this lady because I forgot my license in the car, and she needed it in order for me to get the package. Man, I went off. And I came back in there a couple of days or however long later, and I happened to see her. I said, ma'am, I want to apologize to you. I was like, I was going through some crap that day, and you happened to catch the whole blunt end of some shit you didn't even know was going on in my world. I was like, I apologize, like deeply from my heart. She was like, you know what? I really appreciate that. She was like, people don't do that. And so if you are that person that does blow up, like, own your shit. Own your shit.
You gotta take ownership. I tell my children all the time, there is no such thing as such and such made me mad. I hate when people say that. I wish people would stop saying they made me mad. I'm like, they did something that you didn't like, and you chose that this was going to be your reaction to.
You got a choice. You're right. You got a choice.
Everything's a choice. You could have been like, you know what? Piss me off, but I'm gonna walk away, and it's gonna be all good right now. Like you have that choice. So I would always tell them, like, say, stop saying somebody made you mad. They ain't do it. You did it. You decided that this was the action that you felt like you wanted to take, and now you're over there all in your hurt feelings. You know what I'm saying? And you're mad for no daggone reason because
amen.
It's the amen.
There's another saying that says, "I am not responsible for how you react to your own feelings."
Exactly.
Yep, that's
exactly.
Right.
That's why I say take that up with yourself and your creator, okay? Because
no, seriously, because we're not taught that that's what it is. It's like we get older and we see it and we're like, oh wow, like okay, I'm wilding. Like with me, it took me a long time, like from elementary school to middle school, I played the victim card heavily. I played the victim card Heavily, I want you to feel horrible. You did this to me. I hate you because of what you did. And it's just like, as I got older, I was just like, no, you sound crazy. You sound like you're a lunatic. Like you need to go.
You need a therapist.
Yes, you need to go talk to somebody.
I tell you what my dad used to tell us all the time, and this says a lot. He would say, "Oh, we would be like, oh, we mad. Like I'm mad," and he would look at us and he was like, "Oh, you mad? Go scratch and get glad."
Yes.
But you know what? Like, it's hard for me to say mad at somebody because it's like, and when I feel myself getting that upset, it's just like, okay, Kendra, just get over it. Because first of all, you're not worth my time. You're not worth my energy. That you're gonna piss me off to the point that I'm gonna lose who I am. Like I'm still gonna be me. You say what you want to say, and
you don't get that time back.
That's the thing.
But see, this is the point we don't address though. If we gonna address that part, this is the point also we need to address because part is not addressed. There's a code of courtesy. Then there has to be consequences of violating a code of courtesy. And saying really do deserve an immediate. If we out in public, if you're out in public where there's a group of people, when somebody bump into you, they feel that they have bumped into you because you feel it. And if you don't take the second to acknowledge that you just bumped into me, I didn't bump into you. I wasn't coming your way. You was coming my way, and you bumped into me. So if you don't take the time to acknowledge that you just bumped into me, then you basically just saying, fuck you, move out of my way. Okay, so since I'm to interpret it that way, I'm not responsible for how I am not responsible for the reaction of their interpretation. That means if I just grab it, that means if you bump into me and you don't say excuse me, and I turn around and grab you by the back of your motherfucking neck and bring you to your attention that you just bumped into me, I'm not responsible for that. You wheels, you got it my way. You fucked with my children.
You made a choice.
You made a choice.
You fuck with my children.
You made a choice.
You made a choice.
With my children.
Right.
You chose that you wanted to. You
Listen.
like, you know, maybe they was having a badass day, and I'ma just, like, it ain't even. You chose that, so you are responsible.
Okay, you was having a badass day. Now I'm having a bad day because you got.
What if they weren't having a bad day? What if while they were walking, their kid distracted them, or maybe they're on the phone talking to somebody, just found out somebody died? I'm not saying this is all cases, but I'm just saying, what if this is the case? Now they're getting their ass whooped because you decided that little 2 seconds worth of bumping is worth hurting somebody or doing something.
Wait, you gotta rewind? You gotta rewind what you say that you decided. Part again, please.
Right,
please.
you decided.
Please,
you decided that this person did X, Y, and Z to you. Like, you don't know how. Like, literally, I've seen people do some shit because they think this is what this person was doing. They had no intention of even thinking on that level. I've done it sometimes. I had to check myself. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about every decision that you make. If this person bumped you, you can be like, do I want to sit in solitary confinement again? Or do I want to go the fuck home to my wife? Like, that's the kind of shit you gotta think about.
Does this
like every single decision you make, good, bad, otherwise, I don't feel like there's any good or bad. It's really just what you choose. And there's books on that shit.
Lovely.
Like, whatever you decide is gonna determine which way you go. If you want your life to go a particular way, by all means, choose that direction. But if somebody bump into you, you're like, yo, man, hey, you know, you hit me. Oh, you know what? My bad. I didn't even know. I was doing da-da-da. Or if they're like, whatever, man, you know what? God bless you. Keep moving. That little 2 seconds of just letting that shit blow, you done opened up some opportunity somewhere you don't even realize you did. Just simply by speaking.
Maybe that person
a whole lot
space to be able to apologize.
This is how I feel about a lot of life.
Again.
Yeah, but this is how I feel about a lot about life. I feel like, especially me, I feel us as men, because it ain't that we are pressured to be the strength. It's because it's assumed that we'll innately take it and assume it and consume the strength, not knowing that, okay, yeah, we might have a bulletproof vest on, but just because we have a bulletproof vest on, if we get shot, and we still walking, don't mean we not bruised from this bulletproof vest. So how many times do I gotta get shot with this vest on before this vest break my ribs? And so if I feel like if I'm meant to assume this strength, and I'm meant to not only be my own atlas, but to be the atlas of everybody in my circle, then that means I gotta eliminate any and every I'm talking about even minute disruption in my wave. I gotta eliminate it, because if I don't eliminate it immediately, it's gonna piss me off. It usually, you know what pisses me off more? What pisses me off more? No, what pisses me off more? What pisses me off more is when I don't do something. I get real pissed off when I don't do something. And I have a real strict code of ethics that I live by. I was always talking about my granddaddy that a grown man should never have to tell another grown man some things. So, like, if a dude, we chopping it up, we playing domino, we playing dice, we chopping it up, whatever, and you call me a bitch, I might let you get away with it one time, because it's just the second time we gotta fight. We gotta fight. I can't let another grown man get away with calling me bitches and hoes. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not against homosexuals, but I don't want them around me. I don't want to kick it with them.
What though? You having a whole lot of conversation with one right now. So how you gonna do about that? I'm in your world right now. So what you gonna do? It don't matter.
I'm talking about dudes.
I'm just saying.
Women, I have a whole different.
You are operating in a space where you are inviting things to happen because you're expecting negative things to happen. When you don't operate from that mindset, you don't walk in that light, then it's gonna fucking happen. You're literally gonna be like, yo, everybody's out to get me. Yo, this dude tried me twice. Now I gotta show him who's boss. Why? Why are you showing him who's boss by not just doing what you need to do? Because a boss don't talk all this shit. A boss handle business because motherfuckers look at them and see them doing what the fuck they doing. You don't see Jay-Z worrying about a nigga he had beef with 20 years ago and anybody else.
No, you gonna take care of that now.
I'm just saying, like, yo, if you about your shit,
take care of that shit now. Then you gonna take care of that now.
No, okay.
You can't worry about some man that is gonna have it out for you regardless. You can't worry about somebody that don't like you. I got niggas don't like me right now that I call my sister that walked through my motherfucking door. I don't care if they're watching this shit right now.
I can't have it.
If you don't like me, that's something on you. Because I ain't got nothing but love for anybody and anyone who knows me, period. If they come to me in the street, I'm going to talk to them like a woman and have respect. Because I respect my goddamn self. Period.
And that's the truth. Because, all right, so it's all about how you look at things. It's all about perception. If you're gonna keep thinking that negative thing, that you're in survival defense mode. Right. You need to get out of that survival defense mode because that's not healthy for you. You saying we wearing bulletproof vests and we getting shot. How many times you gonna allow yourself to get shot by bullets that probably not even for you?
Thank you.
It's not even that deep, and it's not even that serious. But it's the street mentality that we are accustomed. It's the street. No, it's not. It's a street mentality that they over there that got us this way, thinking that we gotta be on survival defense mode when we do not. Sometimes it's not even that deep. People be beefing with people that probably don't even got a problem with them. Let's go rob that nigga. Let's go do that. That's because that's what they see. I didn't even know you was beefing. That's what they see.
You know we got right. Like my nigga, I didn't even know. Right.
Like, I don't even know you, dude.
First of all, I got too much shit in my own world going on for me to be concerned.
You done made me throw up my glass.
So to Eman's point, so there is, men are natural protectors, right? We can all agree on that. Y'all are natural protectors. So there is something built in a man innately that, you would want to protect those who are in your circle. There is just a point where you have to be able to know what, what is the level of protection that is needed. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're walking, like you said, somebody bumps you, it's disrespectful. One, it is. And, I think all of us would probably have somebody bump us, and I might turn around and say something like, oh, excuse you. you know, but it's not worth me killing, you know, like getting to a point because people are, you know, people are crazy now, and so you don't want your daughter to have to go through life without you because somebody bumped you and you turn around and say something and they turn around and they shoot you. Like, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Come from a man.
So we got 1 second left or a minute.
No, we good.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing, like, so men, black men, grow up with this idea. This is how it's got to be. It's just one way thing. And so certain things happen in your life that make you transition to other things, but each individual had to get to that point. And so what I'm saying is, I can relate to everything E-Man is saying. And at the same time, I know I have to decide whether I want to go home, I want to go to jail, or I want to get buried today. And if this is my only result, if this got to go down at this point. So I get what he's saying, because sometimes it's going to go down. It just have to happen that way. But sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm going to let you rock this time, depending on the level of it, because at the same time today, it's not easy to let people go home. Like,
we got enough already without just waking up. Like, really?
It's like this. So I've been shot before. I've been shot at, I've been stabbed, I've been kicked out of the window, thrown downstairs. Here's the whole thing. I have to be able to decide whether I need you to walk back or I need you to limp back so I see you coming next time. And it has to be that way. Like, that's the mentality you got to have to survive out here. Sometimes it's not easy to say which one is going to be, but we just have to make that decision. So I get it, but a lot of times when you remove yourself from certain situations and certain surroundings, it also makes you think better. It makes you. I had to remove myself from where I was at because I wouldn't be here if I was still there. You know what I'm saying? And so after I got shot, I stayed 7 years.
If you are constantly worried about getting shot, or if you are constantly have to worry about being disrespected, you need to look at your surroundings. Where are you putting yourself?
Exactly.
This is always a constant worry for you. Sometimes you just have to stop going.
No, the bulletproof vest thing I was talking about. The bulletproof vest thing I was talking about. And the bulletproof vest thing I was talking about. It's like
more ways. Amen. That's in more ways. That's in all aspects of life, right? If I always have to worry about like being attacked constantly, I'm going to stop going to those places where I'm feeling like I'm always being attacked. It doesn't matter how the attack is coming. I'm going to change my surroundings so I won't be attacked.
When you move differently, it changes how you do things. If you're somebody, and I can't speak deeply on it because I don't know, but I can just from common sense know that if you're constantly in a trap house doing trap house shit, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder and worrying about somebody gonna rob you or do this or do that, right? But if your ass sitting somewhere minding your business on a beach somewhere in another fucking part of the world, minding your business, like, who in the world? If somebody, oftentimes I say like this, if you're in a space where trouble is constantly coming to you, that's you choosing that decision. If every time you turn around, you always dealing with something, that's you dealing with that shit. You inviting that shit in. If you sit yourself and put yourself in a new way of life, it's like when you see pastors, and I know this is a terrible example because everybody in the church ain't right, but when you see a pastor that went from being a street dude to a pastor, or my favorite guy, Judge Mathis, you know what I'm saying? He went from street life to a judge. Like when he shifted the energy of how his life was flowing, things started happening differently. You know what I'm saying? If you waiting for your money to come all through a dirty way, but then you see, I got brothers out here that I love and respect because they're hustled. They've been in jail. They've done that shit. What they hustle now is buying a print machine, making t-shirts for the hood, do what they got to do. I'm laughing because I'm like, yo, they grind never changed. They just shifted how they work.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But you said something very important, Lovely, energetically. And energetically, it's like if you keep if you keep on saying somebody gonna give me, well, guess what you just told the universe? Bing! You sent that signal out. Somebody coming to get you. You're bound to make it happen. That's manifestation 101. It don't even matter no way in shape or form how it come about. If you keep on thinking it, and the thing about it is you don't have to say it. All you got to do is feel it. All you got to do is, you know what I'm saying, like It's the energy in your body. And the energy in your body speaks to the universe. And those frequencies bounce off each other, and it's going to give you exactly what it is you're looking for. Whether it's good or bad.
Everything that you speak is, think of it like this. All your words are spells, right? That's one. Two, everything that you speak into the universe, you are literally telling the universe, this is what I want. Even if you say, I don't want, you already said want and I in the same sentence. Universe catches it. This is what they want. Period. Anything that you want in life, just say it. Don't say the things you don't want. Well, nobody focuses on what they don't want. Like, why do that? You want to focus on what you want. I want me and my wife to travel the world. I want me and my kids to do this, that, and that. I want this, that, and the third. Speak all that. You don't even have to listen. You say you don't like people knowing all your personal business and that for, right? Then take that as a tool to be like, you know what? I'm only going to speak the good that I'm experiencing in life. Everybody don't need to know what my past is about. Everybody don't need to know that I was incarcerated at some point. It's not going to make me change how I see you, because who I know today is who you are in front of me right now. Knowing your story is great, but it's not going to shift. If you still acting like a fuck nigga today and you was a fuck nigga back then, you still a fuck nigga. But if you change shit, and you move shit, and I see somebody that's endearing, that's loving, that's hardworking, that's about family, that's all I can judge you on. Period. That's how anybody can judge anybody on, if you're even going to be judging, because you shouldn't be judging nobody. But you know what I'm saying? That's how people see you. What you want and what you want to manifest is your choice. Your choice.
I think women, especially black women, because we're men, it's like I said, it's automatically assumed that we have this strength that supersedes.
I don't think
everything.
so. Me neither. I don't think so. Because too many women have been hurt by dudes that have not done their healing work, that they don't even value, unless it's maybe a good father, a grandfather that's been in their life or something like that. Like I always tell people, I got 3 men in my life that set the example for me. That's my dad and my 2 brothers. Outside of that, I get a couple of folks like Ja, Witz, that I'll say, because I speak on them all the time when it comes to my friends. But if you don't have that, you're not operating in that space. If you only know an abusive father or this, that, and the third, people treating you any kind of way, you're not going to look at that person as strength and strong and protected. They're not doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fair. And I say it like this, the same way it's not fair for people to expect women to be strong all the time, especially black women. It's not right to put all that pressure on men to have to uphold that kind of hierarchy of like way of living, because sometimes you aren't the strongest man in the bunch. Sometimes you aren't the fucking superhero, and that's okay. And we have to start society saying like, yo, it's all right if you don't got it, bro. It's okay. It's okay if every day you don't wake up wanting to carry the world on your fucking shoulders. That's all right. But you got a group of people around you who can help you, who will hold you down. I love my tribe. My tribe, y'all know who y'all are. I love my tribe. When I need a moment and I say, take the world for me, they got me. I get my
how it's supposed to be.
I come back and I take it back.
That's how it's supposed to be. And it's oh God, no, you go ahead. I was gonna say that's how it's supposed to be, and I talk about this all the time. Like my sister circle, we speak about this all the time. I'm like, it's okay, like it's okay to want to step down. It's okay if you're not feeling your best. That's the purpose of you having an army behind you to lift you up. But your first runner-ups are supposed to be you. Supposed to be different parts of you.
Come on.
It's supposed to be different parts of you. And then behind that, you got family, you got friends, and that's supposed to boost you to move forward. But it's okay to get down. And that's what we're not taught, that it's okay to get down. You don't have to stand there like, you know what? I'm Captain Save-A-Ho. No.
Right.
Put the cake down.
I can't put that kind of people on my back.
And those who will be behind you will have your back. Like there are my sisters can tell you there are times where I be like, I'm losing my shit. And they will be like, all right, I'm gonna need you to calm down. I'm gonna need you to step 2, because that's the line I say. I'll be telling them to step 2. And I tell anybody, I practice what I preach, but I am human at the end of the day. So y'all, when I tell y'all step 2 and y'all be like, fuck step 2, but still doing it, that be me. I'll be like, fuck step 2. I don't want to breathe. I don't want to calm down. I want to be human for a second. All right. Be human for a second. But make sure you two-step in step 2.
Right. And E-Man, this is the thing, like if you call us for military, the way you call us for military, you should know that without a doubt, we got your back and we're not expecting you to have it all. We expect it.
But here's the crazy thing, because my wife told me the same thing. I told my wife, I said, you know what it is? I said, if I got a burden, I think like this, if I got a burden that's really burdening me, I want to know people, because it burdens me so much, I don't want to give it to you.
I'm the same way.
Like I don't.
I get that. I'm the same way too.
I'm like that,
Okay,
because
so
it burns me.
that is a black male trait.
Yeah,
Well,
That is a black male trait. That
I do
you
that.
don't want to see like you have a moment of vulnerability. You need to be okay with being vulnerable with your tribe. You need to be okay being vulnerable with your wife. Like that is why she's there. You are married. Where you fall short, she picks up. Where she falls short, you need to pick up. That's why in the marriage, you can't both be 50-50. Y'all need to be in that thing 100-100.
Oh my God.
You bring the best of you. We gonna be in this all together. So if I ain't got it today, baby, I know you got it. If you ain't got it today, baby, you know I got it. That's the only way it works. So, ooh.
Listen, your marriage gotta be like a Cowboys fan to the Cowboys. We may not have seen a ring in a long time, but our loyalty's strong. Amen. Listen, I'm a Cowboys fan. That's in the background. I didn't say it. I've been waiting all the day to say it.
I love the analogy today.
That's the kind of relationship you gotta have with you and yours, where you know,
because my wife trips.
But we still in it.
Like, cause my wife knows, like, if I got some eating in me, because I'll be downstairs and I won't go to bed, and I do that for like 2 or 3, 4 days straight. Where I won't go to bed, I just be downstairs zoned out for like it won't go to bed. Like I just zone this shit. Like, baby, we talk about. I said I'll talk about it when I process it and it's not hitting me the way it's hitting me right now. Because I can't. Because I don't talk. Like I don't talk about a lot of stuff. Really on the cool, to tell y'all the truth. The day I hollered at everybody when my wife went to the hospital, I think that was the first time anybody may have seen me shed a tear in years. In years. And it just so happened that it happened right then, because I thought about the possibility of her not coming home immediately when I was talking to everybody, and that thought right there just fucked me up. And so, but I don't do a lot of, like, my wife say, she tell me,
Emmanuel, at that point in time, when you had a vulnerable action with those around you, did you die?
No,
but it fucked me up.
It's not normal to you.
Did you have anybody think less of you because you had a vulnerable moment?
Come on,
everybody know I ain't no bitch.
I'm about to say no, because we can answer that question. We still
okay.
here.
Okay, so now we cooking with grease, right? Now we cooking with grease.
Come on.
Let's put the fish in the fryer. Why do you think that you can't open up to your tribe when you need them?
I mean, it ain't that I don't think I can't. It's just that I just don't. Like I say, if I feel something is so burdening to me, why would I want it? I just don't feel right want to give some days.
Okay.
That's so heavy to somebody else.
I got it. I feel it.
Jump in the rope.
Your issue is you're like me. we overthink it. So we're trying to figure it out on our own. Our brains are working so hard to come to a conclusion when the conclusion is we just need to talk about it. Because once you talk about it, everything comes out. Everything starts flowing. It's like you feel the burden lift off. It's not that the burden is going to leech on us. That burden is coming off of you and it's going out into the world. So then all that positivity that we gonna say back to you can pour into you. Because if you got so much darkness inside of you, then how you expect to see the light? A lot of us are comfortable with sitting in darkness because it's comfortable. And just because something is comfortable doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. It's not. It's not. So you have to get in your mindset that, you know what? I've been holding too much in. I need to let it out. And if letting it out, you gotta cry, you gotta scream, you gotta yell. Your tribe not gonna look at you differently. Your tribe is gonna be amping you on like, yes, get it all out. We here for you. We got you. We ride or dying. We up in this thing.
When you should be unapologetically raw with your people, first with yourself, right? Because we can lie to ourselves and nobody will know, right? Once you being honest with you and you start opening up, if you have to cry or you feel like some type of way, like however you release, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the hardest thing is like for me, and I'm being completely transparent, I have been suicidal or dealing with suicidal ideations for a long time, my whole life. But it wasn't until I came down here and I started speaking with people that also dealt with this within my tribe and my community and things that they've done to bring themselves out of it. And I felt okay to share my story. And I was able to release some stuff and not live in that space. They've been there. V can tell you, she's talked me off the edge a couple of times. And she probably would, if they, God forbid, happen again, she'd still be right there. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be in that space and say, I'm not okay. Right. And I need you. Like, I don't even, sometimes V will know. She be like, I'm on my way over there. You ain't got to say shit. She got a key to my house. She don't even have to say shit. Sometimes just sitting and being present or allowing someone to be there with you, you can let it out. It helps you release shit that you've been bottling up. Even clouds got to release the pressure. Why you think it rain?
Come on now.
That don't mean the sun ain't shining still. It just mean you got to relieve some shit.
Exactly. And you got
the sun is still under there.
Right. But if you know how many people didn't died of heart attacks, and it ain't because something is wrong with them, like medically, it's because they sitting up there bottling up a whole lot of stress and a whole lot of things that's going on, man or woman. You know what I'm saying? Like it does. So you have to let all of that out. Like, like the number one thing when something going on wrong with you, what's the first thing that happens? Your stomach start hurting. Yep. That should tell you right there. Nothing else goes wrong. Your stomach start hurting. And and something ain't right. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like your body is going to definitely react. There's something else that I wanted to comment on, but I forgot because shit, somebody else go.
I mean, we talk so much.
Everything.
Let's talk about that.
My message on Monday was speaking about growth. Growth does not happen from a place of comfort. It happens from a place of discomfort. When you are comfortable, you can never grow because you are complacent in your current situation. Now you're starting to be uncomfortable.
What a basket.
When you're starting to be uncomfortable, it's time for you to level up. It's time for you to release yourself from that situation. And so now you are going to release those pressures onto others because you have elevated to a new place. You got a whole new tribe behind you. Now it's time for you to spread your wings. Let some of that burden go. That's what you got a team for. That's what you got a family for. And that's something that I myself had to do because I was always a hands-on person. I needed to do everything. Like I would say, I don't ask for help from nobody. And that was my mantra. That was my claim to fame. Not knowing that I'm not asking for help. I'm sitting here in the damn bed for 3 days because I was too tired to move because I had been doing too much on my own. When God put people in my life, I didn't have to do all of this on my own, but I was so big and proud that I didn't rely on those who he put in my life. So he grounded me so my team could show me exactly who they were. God will show you who you need and who you got at your lowest moment. And now you're not at your lowest moment. You got to use them. You got to use them. Don't be scared to let them know who you really are.
Come on now.
Come on, V. Come on, V. And you know what's funny? Like, I don't even know you, but it's nothing but love for you. Because you rock with these people here that I do know, that alone lets me know you good people. Because they don't rock with just everybody. I'm not just saying that shit to blow smoke. You understand? When you move and operate in a certain light, you put yourself and surround yourself with the right type of people. And the people that don't fit into that category, into that little whatever that circle, they weed themselves out. Trust and believe it happens without you even thinking about it. Like, you are in a space. I'm trying not to let spirit take over. I will go there. You are in a space of
I ain't been chasing some years anyway.
You are in a space of elevation right now. And when I tell you the way that you're moving, the way that you're operating, you're setting yourself up so that you can achieve the things that you always desired. The lifestyle that you have and that you've manifested in your mind, you need to start speaking it. You need to stop letting it be a secret that you hold in your private little space and the conversations with you and yourself and I. You need to tell your wife. Why? Because just telling your wife is putting it out into the atmosphere. Your wife is then going to stand behind you and do whatever she needs to do to make sure that you elevate. So if you're saying, yo, I want to start a food truck business, she's the one grinding and seeing how you got to get this. What are the steps you need to do? How do you get an LLC? How do you do this? How you do that? How you do that? Y'all working together, y'all building. If she want to start her own business, then boom, you doing the same thing. Well, baby, this is the money I got from this business, so we can go to get this business and this, that, and third. You have to learn to operate in a way that you are manifesting on a constant basis. I don't give a fuck if it's just getting a parking spot at the goddamn grocery store. Manifest that shit. Start believing that shit. Start speaking in a way that it is not going to contradict the lifestyle that you want. When you take back those things that people try to take from you, can nobody take it from you because it was given from God. Period. It's already ordained and destined. If you have to go, and I had this example the other day, if you have to go somewhere, you coming from New York to Charlotte, right? You know 85 comes to 95 come to 85, right? But if 95 got an accident, what happens? It sends you a detour. You still get into Charlotte, just sometimes you got to go a different route. It doesn't matter how you get there. You still got to maintain and say, I'm going forward. You can't sit here and be like, well, damn, there's a detour. I'm going to just go back to New York. That's not how things work. When you start believing, you start acting, and I'm not even talking about God, I'm just talking about believing in yourself. When you start seeing yourself in a space where you are elevating, when you're operating with the right people, everything you need is going to come. I've seen these two people, at least on my screen, Ja and V, write a number of books or working on books in the time that I met them. When I first met them, they didn't have no books. Now they at a place where they got books, they got businesses, they got locations, they doing shit. They're in all kind of stuff, traveling all over the world. You can manifest it if you believe it. You don't have to be like, well, damn, I wanted to do that when I was 23. Fuck it, you 43. Do that shit now. I don't know your age, but I'm just saying. There's no wrong time. I had somebody tell me the other day, my neighbor, he was like, oh, I always wanted to go to culinary school. Nigga, why you ain't going? I'm too old. I'm 70 years old. Nigga, I graduated with somebody that was 83. I don't care what nobody say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You speak that life to you. You walk in your light, man. I promise you, even when you feel like you are down, like you can't hold yourself, you've invested so much good. It's going to pay itself off. You're going to be in a space like I didn't even know. There's times I didn't even know I had people in my corner. People I didn't even know were in my corner. Like, at least expected this person to be in my corner. It happens. Trust it. And when you come to a place where like, damn, I got to go through this. You say there's consequence early, right? So there's something that you have to like own up. Own that shit. It's okay. And you keep going. It don't stop the process though. You got this. Listen, I'm stepping off the view. I'm closing it down.
No, because you know what's crazy? My wife say, baby, She said, baby, I know that you love to smoke weed. I know you from South Dallas. I know you creepy. I know you went to the penitentiary. I know you were doing all this other stuff, but I don't even know how you feel about your baby mama. I was like, it is what it is. She was like, it can't just be what it is. She was like, I don't even know how you feel about your baby mamas. Because one of my baby mamas, the only of my baby mama that was truly my friend, she died while I was in prison. This last time she died. And her family took my daughter. They just took her to Mississippi. They just took her to Mississippi while I was in prison. And she was like, oh, baby, I don't even know how you feel about it. I'm like, it is what it is. It's on the mind, but it is what it is. And I had to tell my wife one day, I said, baby, you know what? I don't feel like bringing my bag to you. If I bring my bag to you, then we just got some bad together. We can share all this good stuff together, but let me take care of the bag, and then it'll leave room for us to have some more good. She's like, nah, that don't make no sense. I said, that make perfect sense. And we had an argument about this for about 2 weeks. And then she just asked me again. She said, how you feel about your baby mama? Which one? One of my baby mamas I despise. One of my baby mamas I truly despise. I've never called her bitches and hoes. I just ain't fit to go all the way in on her like that, but I despise her. I don't hate her. Because if I hated her, I would kill her. But I despise her. And since I don't know how to feel about despising. I despise. I ain't never despised nobody before. I either love you, like you, or hate you. Or I just don't, or you just nowhere in my thought. But to despise somebody, that's a hell of a feeling to despise somebody. It's almost to despise somebody is to almost like feel like if they were to croak in front of you, you would step over them to get where you still trying to go. That's what it means, and to feel like that behind the person who gave me my greatest gift, because she gave me my oldest born, my oldest daughter, who is my twin, in every sense of the word. So to truly despise the person who gave you that, it's a conflicted feeling, and I don't want to take that to my wife. I don't want to give that to my wife.
So I'm gonna say something to you then, and I know people are present, but I'm talking to you, right? So I understand not wanting to bring that load. Sometimes you have to pick and choose those type of things to unload onto people. I understand that, but all people are a reflection of self. There's something in yourself that you despise within you that is causing you to see this. You despising her. I don't know if there's another word for that in the English language, but what I'm saying is you have to find that peace. What happened? Where was the shift? What was done? What was said that made you say, nah? Was it she took her away from you? Was she put you on child support? Was it whatever that is? You don't have to say that here. It ain't the time and place. I get it. But you have to search within you to understand why, when I see this woman, I think this name, or I feel this name, or whatever, I feel these things. Once you start analyzing that, going to that root, and I talk about this a lot when I'm dealing with people, go to that root source. It may not even be her you got the issue with. It could be some shit your grandmama, sister, cousin did when you was a little boy, and you recognize that same energy, you like, I don't like that motherfucker right there. And it ain't got nothing to do with them. It's something you carrying from the past. And even if it is that being the moment, well, your past with that woman, you have to be able to search self to be like, yo, I don't want to carry this no more. When the day you say, this is not affecting me, you are going to feel a shift. And because of that said shift, even if she don't change, she's eventually going to have to come around, or that's something she's going to have to deal with. Because when you start operating differently, it's going to shift the whole experience. When you heal that spot in you, when you heal that reasoning or whatever, if she called you a fuck nigga, let's say somebody saying it to you is end all be all, no, you don't do that to me, right? But she said it. You have to look inside yourself and be like, you know what? I forgive you. Forgiveness is the one thing that is going to set you free from anything. Because when you forgive somebody else, you are then being able to give yourself opportunity to forgive yourself for putting yourself in a situation, for interacting with somebody, or for even holding that much energy. How old is your daughter? Amen.
Chloe Fisher, both my babies. She's 9. She figured to be 10.
9. So for 10 years, a decade,
yeah, she figured to be
at minimum, you've been carrying this shit. That shit is weighing you down. You wonder why things
No,
don't
it ain't even that long.
Even if it hasn't been that long. Anything that you carry like that, listen, everything that you carry like that keeps you from moving forward. Think of it as a chain link, right? If you have a chain link, and every time somebody does something, you add another link, another weight to that chain. How are you going to keep going forward if everything else is dragging you back? You have to be able to cut that link, cut that link, cut that link, cut that link. The next thing you know, you are completely set from that stuff, set free from all of that. You literally enslave yourself. If you're one of them people that thinks like this, and I feel like you are, so I don't feel like this even analogy is coming to me for no other reason but that. If you feel like you are going to be enslaved by something, why hold on to that? Why keep something that is enslaving you? If me simply saying, yo, you know what? I despised her because of XYZ, but you know what? I released this. This no longer is carrying me in the way that I want to be carried. That shit, not only is it going to set you free, it's going to set your daughter free. Why? Because you're going to be operating with her mom different. And you are her first interaction with a man. So if you treat her mama a certain way, she's going to think all men going to treat women that way. That's the chain and the cycle that we're trying to break. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? You are capable of stepping above that.
So here's the question: can you deal with people not respect them?
You don't have to like people. You should always respect people, because at the end of the day, the smallest thing you can do for anyone. Because if you respect yourself, you can respect anybody. I don't care who you are. I got people right now who I don't like. I don't like you. Like, you know what? I recognize I don't like you, but I love you. And I respect you, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to do something to you that's going to take away my joy. And I point this way because my mama's over there. You understand? I'm not going to do something. I'm not going to walk in a space where I can't be respectful to myself. I'm always going to respect myself. Even if I'm not respecting myself, when that aha moment comes, like, bitch, you ain't respecting yourself. Snap back. Okay. You know, like V said, sometimes you got to talk to yourself like, oh, okay. You know, you don't have to, listen, you don't have to like her. You don't have to like your baby mama for no reason in the world, but I don't like her. But you should respect her, because at the end of the day, she's still a human being. There's going to be people on this earth that you don't like that aren't going to do right. Pedophiles and rapists and all kind of shit. Somebody could say they don't like you and don't respect you because of what you did in your past. Because you got pimps and hoes and all this shit. They're going to think you misogynist. They're going to think you degrading women. They're going to think all this shit. And you're like, man, no, I was just trying to help these women come up. People going to find reasons not to like you, and that's okay. But as long as they respect you, it can't do nothing. Because if you respect somebody, you're not going to come out of line.
You should at least respect. You should at least respect the position that she holds.
That's it.
As the mother of your child, that is the position that she holds. And because you value your daughter, ergo, you have to value the one that brought her into the world. I'm not saying that
because I respect their position. Because I respect her position, I won't disrespect her.
Bro, I don't know if you
okay.
You got a fan on or something?
Who? Oh,
No, I probably because I got the window open.
Yeah,
I'm
close that
changing
window.
my space, y'all.
I keep you that place door.
The same illusion.
Is that better?
I'm changing and cleansing out our space.
The beauty
Let
of
me
all
finish
this
man.
is I'm seeing the layers with you.
Because I've been exactly where you at, bro.
But here's
My
the crazy
son's
part.
mother.
I'll be right back.
My son's mother.
Here's the crazy part. Oh, my bad.
Check this out. My son's mother. She had to text me what she wanted, and I decide whether this conversation was worthy of a phone call or a text. That's how bad it was. In fact, when my son got shot, I didn't even call her. I found out from other people to go check on my son so I could get to New York City and find out where he at. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. What I had to do was decide for myself. Do I want to be able to meet my grandchildren when my son is acting up, or I want to keep this grudge shit going that I can't change? And so I had to swallow a lot of shit that I had to decide whether that stuff was more important than me meeting my grandchildren. And I'm going to tell you, she did some real shit. You know what I'm saying? What I did was decide that I can move past that for the sake of meeting my grandchildren. Because my son and I don't really get along because of shit she did. But my grandchildren don't have nothing to do with that. My son, in fact, our relationship is torn because of what she's done, but he's got to come back for that. He's old enough. He can't keep using it as an excuse. But at the end of the day, bro, I wouldn't have pictures of my grandchildren had I not decided to say, you know what? That shit don't affect me today unless I allow it to. All the shit she did back then, if I don't allow it to make me feel some kind of way, that shit don't affect me. And so it ain't easy, but it is. It becomes easy when you decide what's the next phase. Because in allowing her to hold that there keeps friction between you and your child. Because your child gonna love their parent regardless of what you say or what you do. And the more you allow that shit to hold it, it's gonna hold a certain. They're not gonna share certain shit with you. They're not gonna be able to talk to you certain kind of way, certain shit. And I'm telling you what I know from experience. And with my daughter's mom, I don't have no negative shit to say. I'm like, you know what, baby, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I want my children, my grandchildren to be like, you know what, I can tell my dad anything and it ain't gonna affect nothing. And so it will help you heal to just admit for yourself shit that you holding on to that don't really affect you. Because shit don't it don't stop you from eating unless you make it. It don't stop you from sleeping unless you spend a lot of time on it. It won't stop you from doing nothing unless you allow it to. And so you got to get to the point where you're like, you know what? Man, I'm not even going to pay that shit no mind. Even if you got to literally say that shit out loud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
man.
do it, bro.
Because I'm looking at it like, I respect that you her mama. But because I respect that you her mama, I'm not going to disrespect you. Because I've come to realize there's a difference between respect and disrespect. Respect is, to me, there's something about the way you walk, something in your walk that I admire. But to disrespect means I'm going out of my way to show you that I don't like you. However form they may come, be verbally, physically, however it comes. That's what I feel, the difference between respect and disrespect is. And so I won't disrespect, but when it just some acts you just cannot come back from. It just some things you cannot come back from. And I'm like this with people, period. I'm like this with people, all people, period. Some things that you just cannot come back from. And there's nothing that there's no mending that can take place to ever come back from that. Once my respect is gone for somebody, there's nothing that can be done to regain their respect. That don't mean I'm gonna disrespect you. I just don't respect you no more. And if I don't respect you, there's nothing you can say to me that I'm gonna listen to. Nothing at all whatsoever. And so I'm at that point. But the flip side of that coin is, because I'm at that point, how do I get back to myself? How do I get back to myself? Because before I got to that point, even though we've never ever been in a relationship, I've always been cool and cordial, no matter what. Now that I don't have no respect for you, the cool part has shattered the cordiality. It shattered us being cordial. Now we can't be cordial because now I don't want to speak to you whatsoever. Every time I think about you, it just looks like
you have to get to a point where you are okay with the relationship being over as the way you used to see it, right? Because you already said it cannot go back to the way it was. So you have to get to a point where you within yourself are completely okay with that relationship going away. Now you have to find your new normal. It is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard work and it's going to take time, but that's something you have to work at. No one can specifically tell you a blueprint on how to get you to be okay with that, because at the end, it's some stuff you just gotta suck up, right? Some stuff you just gotta suck up. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Once you are still completely whole, completely operating in your own truth and your own realization that I can't have the same cool relationship that I had with my baby mama before. So now I'm dealing with the mother of my child on this level. This is now our relationship. I speak with you through the court. So I speak with you through my wife. My wife is going to contact you for anything dealing with our child, because I can't interact with you because I don't have respect for you anymore. I still want to interact with my child. So how do we make this beneficial, right? A lot of people use a third party that y'all both mutually okay. You might have to do that. I don't know what your full situation is. I saw what your wife put in the chat, right? So example, my ex-boyfriend, his baby mama didn't have a job. She didn't have a car. She didn't do nothing, right? Every month she'd hit him up for $400 for the kids. I said, okay, that's a lot of money, because all the kids was like 3 and 5, right? It was 2 of them at that point. And then later on, she hit him up with $800 because she couldn't pay her rent. So he was paying all of the bills in her house. And the reason why he was doing that is because his kids stayed there. And I said, bet, I understand that. Now, let's work on you either getting her to a point where she can sustain herself and you are just taking care of the kids and not her everyday living expenses, or you remove the kids and let her be on her own. Like, you got to find some stuff out for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we did. We went through the courts. He got his kids, and she is now learning to sustain, because I don't know, me personally, maybe it's because I had a strong Black mom in the house. I don't know how you can effectively be a mom and you don't know how to operate every day, right?
Come on.
I personally don't know how you can effectively be a mom and you don't have problem solving skills. I don't know how you can be a mother and you can't mentally make a plan in your head of how to operate with your children. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I'm just saying I don't know any mother that can't do that and is still an effective mother. And the child is not going through a place of neglect, because when you can't operate daily, you are going to neglect your kids. Right. And that is what was happening. The lights were getting cut off. The water was getting cut off. Children were going days without eating. They weren't washing their butt and stuff like that. You can't do that. So you as a person have to be able to sustain you and then we can reintroduce the kids into your life.
That's a good point, V.
Right.
That's a good point.
Because you got to be able to sustain. You have to be able to give the children a sense of normalcy.
Right.
Right, and stability. Because even if it doesn't feel like it's normal to you, it's like you gotta be able to protect them in a way for them to have a sense of normalcy, stability. Because you see, and especially I see it here in the city, and not due to so many different circumstances. One, because a lot of these children are dealing with parents that had to go through Katrina, so they did, it's PTSD and everything. But they also are, families are breaking up and they don't know how to be able to still survive in that space and give the children an idea of, even if we're not a 2-parent home, let's make it feel like a 2-parent home. No, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to. We don't have to live together, but sometimes you gotta suck some shit up and set it aside and get along with somebody for 10 minutes to give your children 10 years of something good. You wouldn't want your children to be having to sit on nobody's couch because you fucked them up. And that, you know what I'm saying? And that's just real shit. Like, we don't realize how much we fuck our kids up because we so worried about, I don't like him, I don't like her, we can't get along. Suck that shit up for 10, 20 minutes. It ain't gonna kill you.
Right.
It's not gonna kill you. And if it is, I'd rather die. And you know what I'm saying, then to have to leave that burden on my children, for them to feel like my parents couldn't get along with each other just enough for us to be able to, to make it feel like a family.
My question to you, Iman, is your daughter worth it? Is your relationship from now until the end of her last breath and the end of your last breath, is she worth letting go of all that despised feelings, bad energy? If you can say yes, that's literally the first step to being able to have patience with the situation. Sometimes we don't have patience with people, and that's what makes us go away, right? From what I read, in the chat, whatever, like that kind of stuff, it can be nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking. That can be. It's nerve-wracking. You can be cool and then a hiccup happen and then everything is, well, you can't see your kid, or you can't do this, you can't do that. Unfortunately, there are women out there, and some men, I'm sure the situation could be switched, that utilizes their children as pawns. But when you step up and you see that happening, you have to know, okay, you know what, she's doing this, let me go to the court about this. Or let me set up, like we said, a third party that both of y'all can agree on. It could be the grandmother. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be your wife. She feels the way about you being married or whatever, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you have to choose for yourself. And like Illusion said, for your daughter. Because you don't even like her. Why you want to send your kid there? Like, that's what I think about that. You gotta think like, man, is it worth it? Is it worth it to stress the fuck out every time this person comes around? You already told me from what you said before, you expect negative shit to happen before it even happened. So now the things that we're telling you and explaining and dropping gems in your life right now, you can choose to use them or not. But you can also start manifesting interactions with this woman so that you can start having the connection that you really desire. Like we said, maybe that old life is gone, and that's okay. Because if you can operate fully personally going forward, having respect and mutual kindness, because kindness don't cost shit. I'm sure nobody say you can be kind to anybody. You can't tell me you can be kind to somebody on the street, but you can't be kind to somebody that birthed your child. You know what I'm saying? Once you decide that, and I can already tell from the chat, your wife is behind you. She don't want to go through those stresses. When you stress, she's stressing. So when y'all start working together on ways to interact, ways to say, okay, you know what? How can we make this work? What does my daughter need? What do I need to feel like I'm able to be the father I can be and I'm chosen to be this young lady. Once you start doing those things will start to slip. Because you're not doing it for you. It ain't about you no more. When that baby took that first breath, it ain't about you no more. It ain't about her no more. It's about that baby. And too many parents focus their heart and their emotions and their feelings on the shit they're doing with that person, and they neglecting this child. And now this child growing up not knowing what to do. I know people that
The only good thing I can say,
but at the end of the day, they let the shit go. The kid can benefit. You gotta think about that. And it's tough. It sucks ass to be like, man, I don't want to talk to this hoe. But you got there's shit that I have to deal with. The people I don't feel like talking to. But because XYZ happened, I know I have to interact with these people for whatever reason until the things are resolved. And your daughter's 18, I don't think that shit's gonna end. Because I know when I was 20-something, I was still calling my mom and daddy when I did dumb shit. It happens. Once you move into a new life, you gotta change how you think, bro. You gotta change how you think. And it's not that what you think right now is wrong. It's just saying it needs to shift. We can't operate in the same way now as we did back then. You can't do it because try the shit that, listen, it's like trying to run your computer with an old operating system. They might cut the fuck on, but you ain't gonna be having no good signal and shit. It's not gonna be working. Like this motherfucking lighter.
You ain't even gonna be able to do much of nothing.
You can't do nothing. You can, just like your phone. Every time that motherfucker update, you be like, God damn, this bitch gonna cut out on me in about 2 years. I know I say that. Because it's not gonna fit what it is now. Your daughter's 10. When she was 1 and 2, she might not have caught on to shit. She's old enough now to see when shit ain't right. You know when somebody don't like you. You know when shit's off. I knew that. My parents got divorced when I was 10. They separated when I was 9. I knew then something wasn't right in the home just based off of how they were engaging with each other. My parents kissed one time in that time frame from 0 to 9 that I can remember. So you think I don't recognize that? I didn't pick up on that. I didn't pick up when my dad was angry with my mom, or my mom was angry with my dad. Yeah, it did. And I'm now 36 years old dealing with some shit that happened when I was 9.
My parents never divorced, and we went through all kinds of shit in the household with 2 people. We were not getting along with each other, so you know what I'm saying. Like that's mentally
sleeping on the couch and shit, right?
Mentally fucked me up, too. Just even having to learn how to deal with relationships, and I ended up finding myself in one like my mama's until I realized, nah, that's not what's up. So like that's the type of stuff that we don't want our children to have to go through, the same stupid shit that we dealt with. You don't want them to think that that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All I know is I believe in you. I believe that the structure and the foundation that you have is strong. Because if it wasn't, your wife wouldn't be in this chat releasing and telling stuff. A lot of times, just having the conversation, the fact that she's willing to sit here and be like, yes, I'm here for this.
Yes.
She's telling you when this shit is done, this cute little interaction is done, you guys sit down. Y'all talk. You tell her the shit you ain't telling us. Like, give her that. Because she may be able to, she might have gone through it herself. I don't know. I don't know your situation.
No, she's learned more from us, about him through us.
Right. I like and the beauty of it is, if this is what it took to have the conversation, great. And this might blow your mind, but this is how simple therapy works.
Yep.
Sit and talk, you dialogue, you evaluate stuff, you see how things happen, you unfold and unload shit that you've been carrying for the last 10, 15, 20 years or whatever. And you let it just like marinate. You say, okay, listen, I don't know how you clean your house, right? But my mom back in the day, right? She would put everything in the middle of the floor. I don't give a fuck what it is. Trash, clothes, whatever. Everything goes in the middle. And then from there, you pick through and you put back what is needed and what has a place. Anything left is only trash. You sweep it up, put it in the bag, and you take it outside. That's what you do with your life. You sit here and you unload all that shit, whatever it is, good, bad, otherwise, and you take from it the lessons you need, the opportunities you've had, good, bad, otherwise. And if it was bad and you ain't learned a lesson, leave that shit where the fuck it's at. Because that means you're going to just repeat the same shit if you pick it back up. Yep. Leave it where it's at. When you sit and reorganize who you are, it shifts things. It changes things. That's why they call it spring cleaning. It's a great time to do that kind of stuff. Go into your closet, your personal closet. Pull out that stuff that don't serve you no more, that don't fit you no more, that's stained, that's dirty, that you've been holding. Listen, I just did this shit. I had a bag of trash, a bag of giveaway, a bag to sell, and a bag to repurpose. All of that. And I kept saying, man, I can't fit none of this stuff in my closet because I was still holding on to shit that didn't serve me. You know what I'm saying?
And you can't make way for new if you keep holding on to all of that.
And it's, I'm gonna tell you, God is a determined black woman.
Okay, man.
You got a dedicated black woman in your life, bruh. It ain't shit you can't accomplish. I've seen black women. I've seen men who were in the hospital this is the end, and a black woman nursed them back, and they still living.
Come on.
They was told they ain't gonna make it.
But
a dedicated black woman is God. And if you got one, I don't give a damn what the relationship is. Make that relationship work, because if she's there with you, bro. My mother is the only reason why her 6 sons are not all the way jacked up. Because she was dead. She gave up her career to make sure I stayed. That she didn't abort me. She kept her career. She gave up her career for me. It was either her career or me. And she said she chose me, and she chose all her children after that. Well, one of my brothers got some trouble over some shit he didn't do. But out of 6 boys, only one of her sons got in some trouble and something that he didn't do. Hell, you tell me where that happened at. We ain't had no money. We grew up in the hood. We ain't had no money. So a determined black woman is definitely all you need, bro. Right. And if you're willing to open up to her with some things that you might not have shared before, and I'm not telling you just put everything on the table, because hell, ain't nobody got time for that shit. Don't give me everything at one time. You better ease some.
Right. Little by little, right.
Opening up to a dedicated black woman that got your back. Shit.
She is your safe space. And I feel like I need to say that. Like, and I don't often say that to people, like, I'm your safe space. I had this conversation with my sister the other day where someone said, I'm your safe space in increments. No, you either my safe space or you're not. Right. And that means coming from a place of non-judgment. It means even though your beliefs and how you do things might be different than me, I'm still going to respect you enough to be able to like maintain my peace so that you can release. And then if necessary, give advice and speak on what's necessary. You get what I'm saying? This woman being in your life is a blessing because it already shows me that you are able to commit to someone, right? But the levels that you are willing to take this marriage, like Illusion was saying earlier, I think it was Illusion, it might have been the other young lady, about marriage. Like everybody want to have a wedding. I don't give a fuck if it's a justice of peace. You want to go to a wedding, but you don't want to have the marriage. This is the marriage. Sitting down and saying the shit that you've been carrying. God puts us in situations for a reason. This woman's in your life for a reason. She might be the only, you said bottom bitches and main bitches. She above that. So if you think you could have been loyal to them women, imagine the connection that you have or that you could have with this woman who's above that. You get what I'm saying?
You chose to marry her. That's a whole
right. That's a whole different
right. That's a whole other thing. And you saw it right when you were saying about crap. But my head be going somewhere. Like it just be going.
Yeah, listen, because when you have situations like this and you see opportunity, especially for a black man to be able to see life differently, to be able to see himself differently, and how he can operate to be a better man for himself, let alone his wife and kids. Like, I'm here for that.
Yeah,
I am always gonna be here for that. I don't give a damn what nobody says.
because our men don't get that, and they don't get that push and that encouragement to, you know, like to go out there and be great. And that's why, like, every opportunity I have, the men that I really appreciate in my life, I tell them all the time, you know, I love you, I cherish you, I appreciate you, I'm grateful for you, because, you know what I'm saying, it's like everybody don't have that.
Shout out to Tess, Lady Tess, RIP. She had started at one point, like, and I'm probably gonna say it wrong because it's been a minute, but it was like Honor a Black Man Week, or I Love You Black Man Week. Thanks, V. And it's like she would sit there and make posts about Black men in her life that she's encountered and uplift them. And oftentimes we forget sometimes, like, yo, the same way we are being uplifted, we as women will uplift each other. We got to do the same back. And that's men and women. I'm not just saying just women got to uplift men. I'm talking about we have to, as a group of people, have to uplift each other. Right. If I see that I know something or I've been through something that can help you, I'm going to share it. I'm going to tell you, yo, you cool, but you operating in a bad energy, man. I would hope, because people have told me, Lee, you ain't doing right, or you're not yourself. This is not what you're capable of. You're better than that. You know what I'm saying? You are in a space to grow, to live and lead a life that is royal. And I know a lot of people use that whole royal kings and queens mentality, but for me, from a figurative space, if you live in that life, walking in that light, you're going to carry yourself differently. You're not going to carry yourself like somebody who's given up. You're not going to carry yourself in a way that you're holding on to stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you. Because I don't know about you, but I believe in God. I believe in angels, ancestors, Orisha, all that. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I know in the things that I can't see and operate with directly, they doing. They taking care of. That's why I don't worry about stuff. When stuff comes to me, I be like, dang, like it hurts. Don't get me wrong, because you want the best from somebody. But at the end of the day, I'll be grateful. I'll be like, man, because I was operating from a place of nothing but love for this person. So what are they going to do for them? Nothing. Come on now. It ain't going to hurt me.
Right. You gotta know that besides you having your back, something else, like you said, no matter what it is, got you and got your back and is holding on to you. That's how they say, if you pray, don't worry. And if you worry, don't pray.
Don't pray.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Because what you worried about? If you believe firmly that, you know, and I'm like, whatever you believe in, if you believe firmly in that entity and that being, shouldn't even be worried about nothing.
Yeah.
Saying, because you gotta hear that voice that's saying, you all right.
Yeah. Well, y'all know I say it every day. Lord love a gangster. Lord love a gangster. So since he love a gangster, he there for all the evolution of gangsters. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that in my spirit.
It's gonna manifest for you every time.
Listen, Jesus walked with gangsters.
He did.
Jesus was a gangster.
Y'all know that, but Jesus walked with murderers and thieves.
Jesus was a gangster. Jesus was a gangster. People don't think. You know how I know Jesus was a gangster? Because Jesus fucked up their money and they didn't do nothing. But you fuck with some people money. He told. You ever been to a dice game? I don't know if y'all shoot dice, but you ever been to a dice game? Some dice games you don't go to because it's that one cat at the dice game. If he feel like something ain't right, he just fuck up the whole dice game and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to him. And you know that this nigga is 1,000% gangster. How you doing? That's how. So they telling you that Jesus. People don't tell you from the ages of 13, 30. That's 7 years. I mean, that's 17 years of somebody's life. Between 13 and 30, that's 17 years. Jesus was getting his getting his rep up. Jesus was getting his OG name up. That's why I honestly believe Jesus was a gangster. It ain't nothing different. They can tell me that Jesus wasn't no gangster.
I'm so done.
But you know what? If that's how you interpret it, I ain't even gonna knock it. Like, however, I always say to people, however you get to God, get to God. I ain't got, as long as you get to God, cool. If you don't believe in God, then get to your higher self. Like, if you believe in yourself, get to that place where you operate, in that place where you can be whole. You understand?
You might not qualify.
Right, right.
It's bigger than you. You can't deny that there's something that's bigger than you that, you know, that holds all this together. Because, you know.
Somebody told me, he said, man, God made you in his image. Oh, what? So God is a G. All right, I rock with God. I rock with real OG. Mm-hmm. That is. I rock with real OG. So that's how that's been my whole thing since. And then and I don't mind saying this to anybody that's listening. I don't mind saying this. I'm 40 years old. I'm supposed to be 41 in a month. I've been an adult male for at least 20 some years of my life. I've only been a man for about 6 years of my life. And you wonder, how what can I say something like that? Because it's this. Made me become a man. Somebody asked me a question that still sticks with me to this day. He said, man, you got your girls, right? I said, yeah, I ain't got nothing but girls. He said, all right, if your daughter brought a nigga to you that's just like you, what would you do to him? I said, I'm gonna kill him. He said, all right, then you need to kill you. He said, well, then you need to kill you because you got to be the dog. You got to be the man that your daughter's going to introduce to you one day. Because they don't introduce somebody to you. They going to go and find you somewhere and they going to introduce you to you. So,
you hear yourself, right?
Yeah, with my girls, that's how I do.
You hear yourself, right? And how you engage with that woman you say you despise? I'm gonna just say that.
But I
you
try to keep
the you that you see in the mirror don't look that good when you see you in person, standing in front.
But I keep it civil. So I keep it civil for civility's sake. I keep it civil for civility's sake. But the respect is gone. Like there's nothing there's no way to explain.
But you know what about respect? The beauty about respect, if you really honestly break it down, respect is nothing more than being trustworthy and honest and so forth. If you can start developing those type of things in this person, respect will come. I know for a fact that there's people that lost my respect, but they gained it back by doing things that were orderly and that we could get along and work through. Hell, I've had times where I didn't respect my own father. That's my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Because of things I do, he did, or whatever. But I had to get to that. I had to work through that. I had to be like, yo, I got to give him another chance. When I started giving him another chance and stopped holding on to this shit, like, I can't stand a motherfucker that does this. If we do some shit, we talk it out, or eventually talk it out, that shit's behind us. Don't keep reiterating that shit in future conversations and arguments and carrying that shit like an old wound you want to keep cutting open. No, let it go. So if that woman did some shit to you, 8, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3 yesterday, let it go. You literally are allowing that one thing that happened that you say she did something I can't give, I can't let go, whatever. That's the one thing that's got your panties in a bunch. That's just a figment of it. You know, that's what
I'm saying. My friend used to tell me all the time, LIG. That he's like, and he wouldn't even say let it go, but he'd just be like LIG, and I'm like, okay. But E-Man, you said you trying to figure out the respect thing. You said earlier you ain't never called a bitch a hoe. So that's respect right there in itself. You know, it might not even be in but that's a form of respect. You say you never said that. So I think some of it it's like it's mental. It's a mental thing. It's a block. You know, it's like something that, like she said, you holding on to something. Somewhere.
How you see yourself was affected by what she said or did, right. And it challenged you. You don't like to be challenged. You've already stated that in different ways in this conversation.
Right.
She challenged who you are as a man, a person, whatever, a father, anything. So once you take that part out and know that whatever she says and does doesn't change the fact that you're a good man or doing what you need to do for your daughter, she can't hold you. That's something in herself she got to get through. If she want to hold and do stuff, or I think I read somewhere like she don't let you see your daughter or something, whatever that is, like that's something she got to work through. And you got to make sure, and I tell all my male friends that got kids where their baby mamas don't let them see their kid, stay available. Make sure your phone number, make sure your pages are available, because these kids are going to come looking for you. Even if it's to cuss your ass out for what they think you've done. It gives you an opportunity one day to be like, yo, this is the story. I kid you not, for years, I believed a particular thing about my dad. And I stuck with it until I was an adult, and I literally read the divorce hearing, like literally read every fucking thing. You know, you see the motherfucker over there typing the shit up, what's being said in the fucking court hearing. I read that whole shit. And there was things that I didn't know as a child who wasn't allowed in that courtroom that I learned. And that some of the shit I learned, my stepmother, she be like, you should know that shit as a kid. Fuck that. This is my history, goddamn. Like, this is me. Once I learned those things, I was able to see my father differently. I was able to begin that process of forgiving. Even if there was some shit I didn't like, will go to my grave not liking about my dad. Remember, I said you don't have to like a motherfucker, but you should respect them, love them. Period. Because if you connect with Jesus, if Jesus is a gangster, Jesus was forgiving motherfuckers. He was loving motherfuckers. He was like, yeah, I know they're talking about me, but it's all right. I know one of y'all's finna do some shit to me, but it's cool. I still fuck with you.
You gonna deny me 3 times before this?
Right.
3 times.
Come on.
The chicken crow.
Come on.
I still love you anyway.
And I'ma still love you anyway. Listen, I tell people all the time, anybody that know me personally, I try to love you the way God loves you. I work and do my best. Even if I'm not 100% the best person, I try to love you the way God loves you. Because I want to love myself the way God loves you. You know what I'm saying? When you love to operate in that space, things that would tear you apart and make you want to destroy some shit, or you feel like it's the end of the fucking world, you bounce back from.
You know what's crazy? I told the man I named after, right? Because he's not biologically my daddy, but he the closest to my daddy. Me and him just had a talk last month on the video chat, and because he was sending me pictures, baby pictures of me. I had never seen no pictures of me as a little kid. And me and him chopping it up, and you know, he really fucked up after because my little brother died, because that was his first biological son. And I said, say, man, you know, I'm 40 years old now, man. I was like, man, we can chop it up every now and then. I said, but man, I'm be real with you. I don't respect you, man. Like, I can never see me respecting you. I told him this. I can never see me.
Biological father.
So we can chop it up, but me and you could never be able to have a grown man relationship, because I already don't.
Why you already put that block up before it even had a chance to heal, like to be able to heal? You're literally saying, I'm not going to heal from jump. You told yourself just now, or when you had that conversation, I'm not willing to heal. I'm not willing to let go. Listen, there's people, I got family members that were adopted, because you know, back in the day, if you get pregnant young, they send you off, whatever, girl be pregnant, come back, no kid, that shit, right? we operate too much from that space of saying, nah, you ain't gonna get in. Nah, I gotta keep these barriers up. Nah, fuck you, you wasn't around. When you don't even know, like having a conversation with this man may change how you operate with your own kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You don't know the healing you could get from simply building a bond with your father. Like I've seen grown ass men hug their grown ass fathers and cry like little babies because they didn't realize all they ever wanted their whole life was a hug. A hug.
And you got that opportunity, man. I'm adopted. I don't even know my birth parents, but you have the opportunity to be able to sit down with the person that helped give you life and have a conversation with them. Like if I could do that, I would never. I'd be like, okay, come on, like what's up? Let's talk. Because and it wouldn't even be for just to find out who they are. How am I like you? You know what I'm saying? And then if you do have hurts, address it. But just be able to have that person that gave you life to talk to them. Yeah. I mean, I trade places with you any day on that one right there because I don't know who my birth parents are.
And listen, even if the conversation is ugly and you not being present made me act out this way, that way, that could be the reason why your ass went to jail. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there's levels to that shit. You gotta be like, man, this shit affected me. Watching your mom or whoever raised you go through whatever they had to go through to make sure you can be here today. Like, there's literal levels. Everything that happens in your life is like a cord, right? Think of it like a cell. And this cell becomes something else. Or a DNA, strand of DNA, how do you want to look at this shit? Everything is starting to go like this. And it's making up the man that you are. So if one of those cells or one of those roots or one of those things break or is not functioning, then there's a part of you that's not functioning. That's not operating at full capacity. And it makes it harder. Think about it like this. If you got a car, I'm assuming you're into cars. If you got a car, right, and you buy it today, it's 2021, whatever the fuck, no matter, right? But 20 years from now, you've never had an oil change. I'm not even going to say 20, it could be a year. You never had an oil change. You ain't changed no tires. You ain't put no fresh gas in there. You ain't washed the engine off. You ain't changed your spark plugs. What's going to happen? That motherfucker's going to be running, but eventually that's just going to stop. It's not going to be operating at full capacity. Everything that's a part of who you are, every person, every entity, everything that you've encountered until this day, including meeting me and these women on this chat right now, everything is with purpose. Everything is with purpose. And if you don't take the lessons and those things from the interactions that you have and build on them, you will constantly find yourself not operating right, not doing this or that or longing for stuff. You're going to be in a space where you're sitting here like, yo, I want to have this conversation with my wife, but I'm too afraid because if I tell her how I really feel, she's going to think I'm soft, and I'm not soft. But the strongest man is made from clay. Come on. Are we all molded from earth? I'm just saying.
Got a point. Got a point.
Well, listen, y'all, this has been a good conversation.
I know we got to go.
Yeah. That's what
It's time for the benediction.
I love y'all.
It is
No.
time for the benediction.
I'm still here.
Amen.
Church
Listen,
things
man.
going on.
Well,
Man, I know you don't know me, but I'm lovely, poetic lock. Connect with me, wife. You can connect with me. You a hill wife, so we might be cousins.
I know you, woman.
I don't know who you are outside of this. Like,
I know your spirit.
Amen. As long as it's well and good, I'm with you. Amen. Okay. But
Amen.
otherwise, connect with me, all that stuff. Listen, that's the first thing you need to do. Talk to your daddy. Before you can deal with the future, you gotta deal with the past, right? Talk to your daddy. That's what I'm gonna charge you with. You got till the end of this month talk to your daddy. Because tomorrow ain't promised. And if your father died with some unresolved shit, I promise you that shit's gonna itch your ass. And nobody likes to itch your ass. Nobody. Nobody.
I gotta call this number.
You gotta call him and tell him how you fucking feel. Even if that shit brings you to tears, like, yo, let that shit out. You listen, I said this. I had this ugly ass conversation with my dad at 21. And I was like, Dad, I blame you for so much shit that I went through. And again, we're not supposed to blame people. I know that now. Exactly, that's how I felt. And I was like, because of you, I don't trust men. Because of you, even to this day, I still work on my fear of men. Aggressive men. That's something I constantly have to work on. But I was able to tell my father that. I was able to express it, and I held in as a little girl, like, no, when you did X, Y, and Z, every time you call me by the wrong fucking name, you call me my stepsister's name, all the things you got to do with her that I wanted to do, like, this is like me being completely transparent. When I had that conversation with my dad, it made me feel better because I wasn't holding it in no more. Now he knew why I was acting the way I was acting, why I didn't talk to him, why I didn't give a fuck about some shit. Like literally, and I love my dad to the end of the day. Love my dad, but I struggle with that. I used to struggle feeling like I can't even tell you that you're on me for molesting me because I can't have this conversation with you. Like when I tell you this, and I know that's my story. But what I'm saying is, when you open that door, I know I'm always running my mouth to be quiet. But when you take that chance to talk to that man, I promise you that shit's gonna shift things. Because now you're gonna be able to know how to interact with your daughter in the event that this thing is happening in your own life right now. You get what I'm saying? You're creating that vibration that opens up that door for you and your daughter to have a better relationship. I don't want her this shit to happen to her. That's all I'm gonna say. With that, I love you guys. I love you, John. Thank you for allowing me.
Y'all got me writing all this shit down. Like I'm in class, some shit.
That's beautiful.
Yes, take notes,
Beautiful. I just think that. For real.
I'm in here multitasking. I got baby, laundry. I got lots
Listen,
going on.
you good. I know I got lights. I didn't realize it's 1:30.
Yeah, it's been such a healing moment. I mean,
I'm here for it. I am here for it.
Amazing. And I don't believe in coincidence. You can't believe in coincidence and believe in a higher power. And so having that together in the same space tells you one is always going to be over the other, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's supposed to happen. It's things that I think I've learned some stuff, so I'm sure somebody else has learned something too. It's amazing. And I'm just happy that we were able to share so much love in here. And to remind people that that's what community does, yo.
Yeah.
You show up,
I'll see you.
call. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So,
This is what it's about.
I love y'all. She ate, so I'm good. I'm gonna eat now.
Quick plug. Tuesday will be on my page, Lovely Poetic Locks. IG tonight, 8 p.m. You want to come through and spit? Me and V will be here, vibing out, having a good time. I appreciate all of y'all. We love y'all. Thank you.
Same.
Right. I'm gonna end this. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all
May the Lord
same channel, same time.
While we absent, may the Lord watch between me and thee while we absent one from another. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. And amen.
Next time y'all come to church, for all these folks